I tell you what I've realised that I absolutely hate when it comes to the representation of autism in an inclusive fashion is when people make informative videos, and again, probably with the best intention to help people feel seen, but they don't include the opposite side of the spectrum. And the main reason that I've realised that I really dislike this is because there's so many people lost because they think, oh, if that experience is autism, then I can't possibly be autistic. And I would have definitely been missed if I'd not been able to basically educate myself on this. An example of this might be there are so many comorbidities that exist with autism, but there is a higher frequency of people with autism who experience them, so it's something that's often mentioned. For example, they might say sleep disturbances or sleep related disorders because it's highly comorbid, but they might say things like insomnia. But that isn't the only thing that autistic people experience. They also experience sleep disorders like narcolepsy. Another thing might be there is a high comorbidity with food related disorders. So the first thing that I see mentioned is aphid. And again, it is a valid experience, but nobody talks about sensory seeking through eating and how somebody else might sit on that part of the spectrum. Another thing that I see frequently is hypersensitivity spoke about inclusively like it's the only representation of autism, and it is absolutely not. There is a hypo. It's basically anything that is seen as an extreme of either end of something that is in the DSM-5 that meets the criteria, like sensitivities, sensory sensitivities. But this also might be seen as sensory seeking if you sit on the part of the profile, which is basically where you will have like pica, which is sensory seeking through the mouth, or needing light stimulation rather than the opposite, which is being sensitive to light. Needing physical input, like deep, hard, compressed touch, rather than I am sensitive to touch and I don't want to be touched. Another example of this is, so it talks about in the DSM-5 for autism that social differences. So one of the things that they might talk about is eye contact. And there is this idea that it's an aversion to eye contact, but sometimes it's intense eye contact. There is many ways in which it might show itself to you that are not always spoke about, and I just think that more people need to.